Today's video is part of a series about a bunch of products that don't require an internet connection, therefore don't require the cloud, don't require a hub, and will eventually allow you to get all of your devices under one app. And I've discovered something quite interesting today. If your Amazon Echo doesn't have an internet connection, Alexa sounds like she's been smoking crack.
So, I didn't get that. Internet isn't reachable.
What? Entirely useless. Not only can she not understand you, you can't actually control any of your devices in your house, even if they are Thread devices, which are entirely local and connected directly to the Amazon Echo. This blind motor is awesome, and it's connected directly to the Amazon Echo with no hub in between, and I can control it using my Amazon Echo account. Okay, that is Alexa controlling this device. If I disconnect the internet, however... Get out!
Alexa.
Open test blind.
So, I didn't get that. Internet isn't reachable.
The internet. Now the interesting part is, because that blind motor is Matter enabled, I can actually share it from the Amazon Echo, which is its controller, to other devices, such as, for example, my Raspberry Pi running Home Assistant. Now, if I disconnect the internet, it shouldn't work anymore, should it? Because the Amazon Echo, we've already proven, doesn't work if the internet isn't there. Now, the weird thing is, it does. Hey up. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. What this tells us is very interesting. It tells us that Amazon have specifically, on purpose, made it so that you can't control Thread devices using the Amazon Echo if you don't have the internet. They've done that on purpose, because we know that that part of the Amazon Echo is still working when the internet is down because I can utilize it using Home Assistant. Why have you done that, Amazon chairman Jeff Bezos? I'm too busy dicking around in space to care. He's too busy dicking around in space to care. Thanks to Zemismart for sending me their Matter over Thread adjustable length curtain motor and their Matter over Thread blinds motor too. These two devices, despite being really well made and utilizing cutting edge Matter over Thread connectivity, are actually insanely cheap. Despite being some of the cheapest options on the market, they don't require a hub, they don't require the internet, and therefore do not require the cloud. And this makes me happier than that time that I found out that Jeff Bezos had accidentally farted in his spacesuit. Echo, vent spacesuit!
Searching online now for rental spacesuits.
No. Echo, vent spacesuit!
I didn't quite catch that.
Echo, vent...
What? I didn't hear you. Please repeat instruction.
And because this is Matter over Thread, not only does it work without a hub and without the internet because it connects directly to your voice assistant speaker, I can also go into the settings for my voice assistant, get the sharing code, and share it directly to my Raspberry Pi on Home Assistant. From there, Home Assistant can access this blind entirely locally without the internet and without a hub. That's awesome. How cool is that? You can also connect Thread over Matter devices straight to your Apple HomePod Mini, and if you're some kind of sadist, you can also connect it to your Google Home speaker too. Google Home sucks. I can't be the only one that wants to know though, does it work with Philips Hue? Well no, I don't really see what Philips Hue's got to do with any of this. So it doesn't really work with anything, does it? Ladies and gentlemen, every Philips Hue owner ever. So what he's saying is, it just doesn't work! The curtain motor can be extended to any length from 2.1 meters right up to 7.1 meters and can be constructed in under 10 minutes. And this is the best curtain motor I've tried so far because despite being adjustable, you don't actually have to adjust the drive belt at all, which is crazy. It somehow self-adjusts. It's also super easy to build. Barely an inconvenience. Why do you test me, Satan?
Super easy, barely an inconvenience.
I'm kidding. Is actually, of all the tracks I've tried so far, the easiest to put together, and in fact the quietest. This is closing. That's as loud as it gets. Pretty bloody quiet, huh? Pretty bloody quiet. Actually quieter than I was that time that I realised that Super Mario vs. Predator isn't a real movie and something I in fact imagined in a fever dream, and I'll never get to watch it, and I'm now morbidly depressed. You guys don't get it, do you? You just think I made all this up just so I could show off my Super Mario art. And to that I say, how dare you, sir? How dare you? I did not just do this.
Get to the point.
The point is that despite its very low price tag, it's actually probably one of the best built curtain tracks I've tried so far. There is one caveat to that, and we'll talk about it at the end. Hey there! If you're enjoying this video, why not do me a huge favour and hit that subscribe button and ding the bell and give this video a thumbs up. It tells YouTube it was a good video and more people should see it. It'd really mean a lot to me. On with the show. Possibly the most unusual feature though is that the curtain motor has a built-in battery that can apparently last up to 7 days if your power goes out. So you can still take advantage of, I don't know, I mean not your voice obviously because Amazon Alexa will be dead. You could use the tug and go feature, and no that's not a euphemism, you kind of give the curtain a little tug and it then tells the motor to start running. That's a cool thing, yeah. What? If you're looking for a more in-depth guide to building this thing, then I'll link to my mate Simon from HomeKit News' video in the description below, because he's done a far better explanation than I ever could. So yes, this is a blind motor, and not some oversized Harry Potter wand.
You're a wanker, Harry.
I'm a what?
A wanker.
And a thumping good one, I'd wager. And yes, that was a rather tenuous excuse to reuse that joke. This thing comes in either mains-powered format or a battery-powered version with a solar panel, which is what I've got in my hands now, or even you could buy a ready-made version that includes the blind cover itself. For the blind motor installation, if you haven't seen these things before, they basically just push down your existing blind tube and then mount to your wall, and it twists the tube when it's told to do so. And the only issue you might find is that your existing blind tube isn't exactly 38mm. It needs to be exactly this size so that you can push this thing down the... What? Disgusting! If you don't have a 38mm tube, you're going to have a bit of a job. What you will find is, I emailed Blinds to Go directly and just politely asked, could you guys put a blind for me around a 38mm tube? But this is a really good way of getting exactly the kind of blind you want, because you can pick the style and then just get these guys to wrap it around a tube that this will actually fit. Hey Bob! Why have I got 600 emails in my inbox about 38mm tubes? We're never going to be able to fulfill these orders. This is a nightmare. You're welcome, Blinds to Go. It's not the most attractive rail I have ever seen. Because it has this ingenious adjustable nature to it, there kind of is no symmetry to where the buckles line up, and I think it's basically because in China they still have those hidey things that we had in ancient times called pelmets. No! Hello, yes, YouTube, please! This week he's talking about his pelmet! It's a what? Right, fine. I'll be back next week. Disgusting! On that note, if you want to ceiling mount it, you've got everything you need. If, like me, you want to wall mount it, you'll be making a trip to B&Q to get an L-shaped bracket that you can then use kind of some screws and some bolts to... yeah, it doesn't come with the bits you need if you want to wall mount it. Then there's getting a battery in the posh remote. I can't open it. The instructions are just like, open here. What does that mean? Look, the state of this thing. I can't get a battery in it because it won't f***ing open. F***ing open! I just want to put a bloody battery in it. Ah! Why? If you're in the same boat as me, right? It's clipped in here, 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 and here. Why I'm being told to open it here is anybody's guess. The clips are here. They're at the four corners. It's off now. It's very badly damaged, but it's off now.
Coming this fall, Mario is here to kick ass and eat mushrooms, and he's all out of mushrooms.
This is definitely nitpicking, but I have seen other devices where they'll do like a really slow opening of the curtains in the morning to wake you up very gradually, and of course, because it's done very slowly, it's almost entirely silent. This is a very quiet curtain motor, but I would really like it to have one of those options. That would be awesome. It doesn't have that. And finally, there is something very strange happens if you disconnect the curtain motor from the power. Even though it has a battery backup, for some reason, it disconnects from your smart home system and it doesn't reconnect even when you've reconnected power immediately. It takes 20 minutes. You can, of course, manually repair this thing when that happens, but that's really annoying. Again, this might not matter because if it reconnects after 20 minutes, perhaps you wouldn't even notice if there was a power cut, but I thought it was worth mentioning. That's it. I think these are my new champions for curtain and blind motors because the blind motor is solar powered and is thread based, which means there's no hub required, no internet required, no cloud required, and the same thing goes for the curtain motor, and the curtain motor is the easiest track I have ever put together. If you're interested in buying either of these devices, they are well worth their ridiculously low price tag, and as usual, there is a link in the description if you want to pick one up. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed today's video, it was brought to you by these incredible people. They're my patrons from Patreon, and without them, this video would not exist. I would still be working in a call center. I'm going to go back to try and thank one every week because I think that's important, and this week it's Marissa Goldsmith, simply for being my latest patron. Thank you so much. If you want to be one of these incredible people or be like Marissa, you can do that at either Patreon or buy me a one-off beer at PayPal, and either way, I will genuinely love you forever. These are my Facebooks and my X's, my Threads and my Instagrams and my TikToks. Come and hang out there and be best friends. See you next time. And this makes me happier than that. It's giving me some right sweaty titties. It just doesn't work!